I admire that persistence, and it was that sort of persistence that I think many of us used to perceive in your early attempts at dating. Oh yes, in your early juvenile experiences with the opposite sex, you were not one to take no for an answer. Although Tom had a slightly peculiar, slightly eccentric mating technique. I'm quite surprised, pleasantly surprised, Jane, to see that he's sitting next to you today. You know, he's kissed you in the church, and you know he's glowing in his reference to his beautiful bride. Because back in the day when we were teenagers, Tom used to take no displays of public affection to quite the extreme, to the point at which Tom would actually impose something of a 10 or 15 metre exclusion zone between him and any young lady who was lucky enough to be the object of his affections. In fact, there were times and events such as these when some of these love-struck young ladies would come up to me and say, what have I done? What have I done to upset Thomas? Why won't he speak to me? Why won't he stand near me? And I would say it's precisely because he refuses to be seen anywhere near you that we know he likes you. One thing that was always something of a mystery, though, is how we used to develop from the sort of 10-metre exclusion zone earlier in the evening to the point where some kind of physical coupling could eventually privately take place. Tom, I am led to believe that Sir David Attenborough is in fact studying video footage of some of our teenage parties to try to work out quite how and when it was in the evening that the exclusion zone was breached. In fact, I would go as far as to say the only way that I and Tom's other teenage friends knew that anything had happened was because he could always be relied upon to give us a very, very full and frank description the following morning. Oh yes, we knew exactly what had happened. Jane, just a word of warning, anything that may or may not take place tonight, Tom will tell us all about it in the morning. Now according to Tom, from some of these teenage anecdotes, he would have us believe he's very good with his hands. But I can assure you, Jane, he's no mechanic. You see, when I was a teenager, my pride and joy was a yellow Ford Escort nicknamed the Flying Banana. Oh yes. What a car, what a machine that was. And when I was fortunate enough to go over to Spain for a few months in a gap year when I left school, Tom showed the sort of persistence, Jane, that he used to win your heart, the sort of persistence he used to take and retake and retake and retake and retake maths GCSE. He showed that persistence to wear me down. Can I borrow your car while you're in Spain? I'll look after it. No, I said, no, Thomas, you cannot be relied upon with the yellow Escort. I'll look after it. Nothing will happen to it. Anyway, in the end, I think it was my mum and dad who actually gave it, wasn't it? I said, no, but they talked me around, they said, no, come on, let Thomas have this car. And to my amazement, in the regular contact that I had with you, Tom, during the 6 months while I was away, you assured me this car was in pristine condition, had been beautifully looked after, not a dent, not a scratch on it. And in fact, I think that remained the case until the eve of my return to the UK. Whereupon Tom, the great mechanic, decided that he would personally undertake a servicing of this car from top to bottom. Oh yes, it was polished, it was valeted, he checked the water, he checked the engine, he checked the oil level, gave it a little top up and flooded the engine, costing my dad £700. Which, Tom, I have actually checked with Big Al this morning, and he reminds me you've never actually paid that back, so I don't know how much this wedding's costing you. If you have a little bit left over, you might want to sort of settle up later. So, yeah, this was clearly not Tom's future direction, manual labour, but we didn't want to sort of push home the bill and claim the money, because I think at the time, Tom, you were pretty hard up, weren't you? You were a struggling actor. Yes, you may not all realise that Tom did seek initially, early in his career, he sought to make a living as an actor, as a professional actor. Have you finished? Tom,
I think you need to hurry up.
I think one of the secrets of our friendship, Tom, over the years, is that actually you're probably the only human being I've ever met who had a less successful acting career than my own. For that, I'm eternally grateful. For an actor, Tom, all I can say is you made very, very good sandwiches. Yes, Tom worked in a sandwich bar in, was it Leicester or Oxford? Oxford. Tom worked in a sandwich bar in Oxford as a resting actor. One time I remember we went to a picnic, Tom. I turned up, as I thought, quite sophisticatedly with smoked salmon and cream cheese sandwiches, to which you said, "Is there no cracked black pepper and lemon juice?" Took his career as a sandwich making acting very, very seriously. And the highlight of your career, Tom, as I remember it, was a margarine advert. Yes. Tom was actually the face of a very popular brand of margarine. Which brand of margarine was it, Tom?
Flora.
Stork. Was it Stork?
Flora.
It was Stork. Not Stork? Tom says it was Flora. I remember it as Stork. But anyway, Flora. It was the face of Flora. And that was kind of the zenith of his acting career. And as I remember it, he used to say a little prayer every night for success. Please, Lord, one day, let me be successful, let me be an actor, let me fall in love and have a wonderful wedding day. And luckily, it seems your prayers have been answered, Tom, but the one thing that got me was which God it was that you were praying to. Because I think it's fair to say there's always been a degree of sort of religious confusion, religious schizophrenia in Tom's background. I mean, maybe we've seen a bit of that today. And today there was we had a Catholic, or we had a wedding in a Church of England church, but it was blessed by the Catholic Church, officially sanctioned. And what people don't maybe know is that beneath all of this, Tom has actually had a secret desire to be Jewish. You see, those teenage years are a seminal moment for us all, aren't they? And Tom was welcomed into the bosom of my family, the ample bosom of my family, for those of you that know my mother. And, she tried to fatten him up with chicken soup on a Friday night. Hasn't worked. Still a bit scrawny, but you know. But this was kind of a life-changing experience, wasn't it, Tom? The warmth of the Jewish family, and Tom, in fact, went over to a kibbutz in Israel. And this was a cultural moment in your life, wasn't it, Tom? Where, you know, he played his trombone in the klezmer band and put his Kentish hop-picking upbringing to good use in the fields of the heat of the Middle East. And Tom, I'm led to believe it was only at the point where you realised you were on the eve of deployment to the Gaza Strip with your Uzi gun that you suddenly came home. And anyway, I've got in honour, Tom, of your secret desire to be Jewish. I think you should wear this in Liberal Democrat yellow. I would actually, Tom, I'd like to stand on your chair, actually. Stand up on the chair. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, there is a tradition, there is a Jewish tradition of reading from the Holy Scroll.
Stand up.
And on July the 14th, 2001, on my wedding day, Tom did something very, very, very funny, very witty, very clever. Tom pulled out from his lapel pocket a sheet of paper that I had to read word for word. It may not surprise you to hear, Tom, that 14 years on, we're back. Now you have a choice. This is just one sheet of A4 in smaller print, or there's two sheets of A4 in larger print, because I'm not sure whether you can manage with or without your reading glasses.
Is this the end of the speech?
Halfway through. Which is it, Tom? So I'm going to hand over to Tom Powell now to read verbatim.
Yes, I've got it. Yes. I, Thomas Yoda, Frodo Baggins, Gareth Bale Powell, do hereby solemnly swear that I will read aloud the following personal declaration verbatim and in full, without amendment, omission or feeble attempt at witty ad-lib. I wrote this. Although I do not yet know what this statement contains, I already confirm it to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to help me Moses and all the Old Testament prophets. Firstly, I wish to apologise in public for the rude, intolerant and insulting way in which I have spoken to my friends for many, many years. In particular, I wish to say sorry to my best man, Daniel Feynman. Many years ago, when we were teenagers and he first used to come over for tea, my parents would listen to him admiringly before turning to me in disappointment and asking, "Why can't you be more like Daniel?" Outwardly, I feigned an attitude of disdain, but inside, secretly, I strived to emulate his dashing good looks, I felt his charm and charisma and extraordinary success with the ladies. I strived, but I failed. More than anything, I always wished I had Daniel's toned, athletic and muscular physique. And I confess, I was motivated by jealousy on the frequent occasions when I referred to him as Fatso, Little Round Man, or the Little Fat Tube Boy. I'd also like to take this opportunity to retract and renounce any derogatory suggestions I've ever made regarding the skills or abilities of Daniel Feynman's hairdresser. In fact, it should be painfully apparent to all here present that I'm simply jealous of anyone who has hair at all. Quite simply, Daniel Feynman is, and always has been, my idol. And in the movie version of my life, I would cast him as Tom Cruise to my Dustin Hoffman in a Kentish remake of Rain Man. But there is one far greater apology that I owe all of you, my beloved family and friends. I must now confess to my undying shame that I've openly and brazenly put pressure on Daniel to censor his best man speech. I wish to acknowledge that this attempt at censorship has denied all of the opportunity to hear some highly entertaining anecdotes about a far-reaching range of topics, including unsubstantiated allegations of criminality and my inappropriate use of the internet. If any of you feel you've missed out, please do approach me at any point throughout the rest of the day so I can share these stories with you in fulsome detail. Without further ado, here endeth my statement. I will hand you back to my hero, Daniel Feynman. With a sense of deep and lasting gratitude, he has chosen to be so magnanimous by not taking the opportunity to stitch me up on my wedding day.
Tom, I think we've come full circle because that was beautiful. I hope, like me, you found that truly cathartic. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder that he did say, if any of you want to hear about unsubstantiated allegations of criminality or inappropriate use of the internet, Tom is quite happy to share those anecdotes with you later on. So, Tom, what else can I say in summary? What can I say about you that hasn't already been said in court, in mitigation, by your parole officer? Well, charm, tolerance, respect, all these, Tom, are qualities we're hoping you will now develop now that you're a married man. And I think I am in a position to offer you a little bit of advice as someone who, like you, is very deeply under the thumb to a woman called Jane. All I can say is, in my married life with my beautiful wife, in the rare moments where we've had discord, disagreement or marital strife, one rule of thumb always sees us through. We talk about things my way and then we do them her way. And I think if you stick to that, Tom, you won't go far wrong. I have to say, much as it pains me, one nice thing in this speech, and that is, truly, it is touching to see you very, very much in love, very happy. The two of you genuinely make a wonderful, wonderful couple. And I think all of us here are absolutely thrilled to have waited 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and this wedding day is finally here. You've got two such beautiful, beautiful children. Little bit unconventional, perhaps, in the order of way of doing things, but you're both fantastic parents. You've created a beautiful family, and it's a joy for all of us to share in this your special day. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to raise your glasses, please, and toast the bride and groom.
Brilliant.